So about a year ago now, I created this Pixie Hollow inspired build in The Sims 4 for Tinkerbell and some of her fairy friends from Disney's Pixie Hollow. But I actually built all of this before The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature came out. You know, the expansion pack that revolves entirely around fairies. And plus on top of that, there was outrage in the comments because I did not include all of the Pixie Hollow fairies in that build. So today we're going to be building a tiny village in The Sims 4 for all of the Pixie Hollow fairies that I did not build for in the last video. Of course, I'll link that first video down below if you haven't seen it yet. But if you're unfamiliar, Pixie Hollow is the central home of the fairies within Disney's Neverland universe. The stories follow Tinkerbell and her friends who each have unique magical abilities that help create and control seasons. So they all end up being weather or nature inspired in some way, so it makes for a really cute fairy build. So obviously that means we'll be building in the world of Innisgreen, and this is the fairy world of The Sims 4. And over to the left in the Everdew neighborhood, there is actually a treehouse lot. I figured this would be the perfect spot for our Pixie Hollow house because in the last video, I did like a treehouse village, and for this one, they're all already going to be nested in a treehouse. So let's start by building our first home over here, and this one is going to be for Silvermist. This is the one that I saw the most in the comments on that other video. I did not include her, and I think that might have been a mistake. But Silvermist is a cheerful, free-spirited, and kind water fairy. She has water abilities, which is perfect for her go-with-the-flow kind of personality. She's sweet, silly, and sympathetic, and she's always there to lend an ear to a friend. So with her being a water fairy, I definitely want to have a deck, and then we can have a pond underneath it. We'll move this back a tiny bit, and then yeah, I want this whole thing to be surrounded by water. She can have her own little pond over here. We'll fill that up, and I'm gonna have these two take this conversation somewhere else, please. Over the bridge you go. The very high and scary bridge, might I add. That thing is supported by nothing. Anyway, her main color scheme is blue and black, so I want to find a blue wallpaper, maybe something like this. And then because this part is going over the water, I'm gonna add a different foundation to it. So we'll do like a stilt foundation there, but then I'll change the foundation of the main building. I'm gonna go ahead and roof this, and I'm gonna keep it kind of simple for the roofing because I feel like this build is going to have a lot of landscaping. I want to do some really extreme whimsical landscaping around with like mushrooms. I want to add butterflies around too. It'll be a very detailed landscape, so we can kind of go a little subtle with the exterior. I'm going to change around that roof paint a little bit, I think. I'm going to go in and add some columns. I'm moving this back a tiny bit more, and we're going to have to be really mindful of the spacing on this build. This is not a big lot. This is only a 20 by 20 lot. I debated not doing it here, but I mean, come on, it has to happen on this lot. This pack has the prettiest doors. This one is one of my favorites. I've actually never even noticed those little handles there, like the little wings. Then of course we have the pattern on the stained glass. Then there are super cute matching windows we can use too. I'll add some stairs at the front, and then I really want to have a pathway leading from here going around to the second house. The second house is going to be right here, and then we'll have the third in the back. So that means we can expand her pond out a little bit. I'll add more windows going along the side, and we also need a little door leading out to this part. One thing I know about Silvermist is she loves adding little water droplets to spider webs, and then it ends up looking really pretty. So I kind of want to add some spider webs to her balcony. I have no idea how we could go in and add the droplets though, and maybe I'll just add a few because I don't want it to look abandoned. Also, we're using a lot of blue out here and not a lot of black, so maybe our decor on the outside can be black. I know she loves blowing bubbles. Ooh, a bubble blower would be really fun in her house. She loves blowing bubbles, so I mean, my mind automatically went to this little bottle of bubbles that you can get from the flea market in City Living. But then right next to it is this beautiful Bubbletron 5000. I mean, take your pick. We'll give her both. I'm gonna give her some of the bubble blowing bottles, and then like I guess I could possibly extend this, and then we have the bubble blower, and then we can get some nice comfy blue chairs. Should we blow bubbles on the sheep? Maybe if she was an animal lover, that's kind of crazy. Instead, I guess I could use these from Lovestruck. I've moved it out so there's a little more room. Could you imagine doing this in this location? I mean, bubble blowing in this location? Wild. What else? I was kind of thinking that some fairy lights could be our droplets on the spider webs, but if you zoom out, I feel like they just kind of look random over there. So maybe the spider web could be against the fence, and then I could rotate this so it looks like it's coming out of the fence. I think that's as good as it's gonna get. If you guys are listening listening with headphones, by the way, you might be able to hear some birds that are outside my window, which could potentially be why I'm in such a good mood today. I feel like spring is here. This was a rough winter for me, you guys. I am very excited to be done with it. I feel like the snow this year was just relentless. It was like every single day. It was gray and depressing, but it's gonna be okay because now there are birds outside my window. Okay, I am going to add some lights out here. I also want to go in and add some fountains. So in live mode, the water is going to be spraying up. We'll add some in the back here too. And then I'm opening up debug so that we can get some of the enchanted by nature landscaping options. Like this way we can add some of the mushrooms and then we can make it match more of the landscaping in the surrounding world. Also, these blue mushrooms are just so pretty. I think I'm going to put one right on top of my house. I've gone in and added more landscaping, but as a final thing, I want to add these lily lights from City Living. They're really cute because they just sit on the water. So I'm just gonna have some going along the back here like this. And okay, for now, this is Silvermist's house. I added a few extra things, so obviously we have the fountains going. I did have to shrink the deck a little bit, so we have a bubble blower for 2 spot, and you can see all the fireflies around here. In the last PIXIE Hollow build that I did, I added those around and they looked so pretty. Those are just base game items. They're little fireflies. They look absolutely horrible in build mode, so I like to hide them. But if you place those in live mode, the patch goes away and it just adds a little touch of magic to the exterior of your builds. But like, how cute and magical is her house already? And this is gonna be such a good build for spring. Okay, I'm excited. Let's go ahead and do the next one, which actually has nothing to do with spring. The complete opposite actually, because the next PIXIE Hollow fairy we're building for will be for Periwinkle. She is a frost fairy with ice abilities. She's super bubbly, curious, and adventurous. She loves skating and sledding and all things winter related. Okay, so I think we are gonna have to go up with our terrain. So I just like to use the raised terrain tool like for a second, and then I'll go in with the flattened terrain tool and I'll pick a spot here and just flatten it so it's all gonna be the same height. We're gonna really need a nice platform to build on, and actually I'm gonna wrap this all the way around the back. That way we can just add our other house in the background here too. And I need this spot to come out enough so that I can add some stairs. All right, this should be good, and then we can add our stairs going up like this. We'll just fix that terrain a little bit. Now we can work on our second shell. So this is gonna be over to this side. I'm gonna make them similar in shape just so the whole thing looks kind of cohesive. And maybe we can use the same fence here too. Her color scheme is gonna be more of like a white and a very pale blue. But I think it's gonna look really pretty if we keep this fence the same. I'm gonna connect it on there so now we have a walkway. And then this walkway is how we could extend it into the back house. I did also go in and add some rock debug landscaping around the entire thing. Just since now we're done with the terrain, I feel like that's gonna clean it up a lot more. We could also add a set of stairs right here. There, that looks a little bit better. And then once we go in and clean it up with landscaping, like I can add these just in here, hiding any of the extra exposed terrain. I think that's gonna make it look a lot better. Okay, there we go. For now, we've got the landscaping all set up. Let's get her some wallpaper. So I'm thinking we go really pale for the exterior. Like maybe we just go white. I'll do similar roofing on here, so I'm just gonna copy and paste the same shape. We'll change the wallpaper, but then I'm also gonna change the roof paint. Like we could do this super light grass roofing, and then on there are these tiny little white and blue flowers, and we can go super light with a matching trim. I'm gonna go in and use some different columns, but still they're from Enchanted by Nature. And I'm also again gonna use Enchanted by Nature doors and windows, but again I'm gonna use this variation with the blue and white flowers. And then for the frosty look, we could take these wall lights, and I'm just gonna add these branches going around the doors, maybe around some of the windows. To me, these kind of just give off like a snow-covered branch look with the all-white swatch. So that's gonna be my goal for this house. It's gonna look nice and frosty. It's nice too because these are lights. They're gonna brighten the place up a little bit. Which actually, how are we looking at night? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It has this like weird glow. Like something about the lighting here, I really like it. My issue with this one is I would love to have like a frozen pond or something. Like how cool would it be if Sims could skate on frozen ponds in the winter? That is not a possibility, and also I don't know how I would go about having 2 different seasons on one lot. There are these cute snowflake sculptures though, so I'm gonna add these outside, just like around her house as landscaping. I could also add a cute pale blue table here. I'll add some chairs around it it. And then I also wanted to add some decor from the holiday pack, like this icicle tree. I always thought this item was so pretty. We can have that hanging outside. And then I want to like put those outdoors. I guess we could use this tree, and that's how we can make this season look a little different over here. This tree comes with the holiday pack, and it's literally a wintry tree with lights on it. So if we add these around, maybe that will give off the wintry look over here. I also thought about this skating rink from Seasons for her, but like these take up this entire lot. Even the smaller ones are huge. There's just no way we could do it. So this is gonna have to be the exterior for Periwinkle's house for now. I really like the white and blue together so far. This is looking so cute, but we do have one more we're going to build for. So I'm just going to extend this to the back. We're gonna have a walkway leading all the way around, and then at some point this is gonna have to lead off here, and our shell for this one will have to be in the back. But this one that we're building for is for Vidia. Vidia is a wind fairy. She creates wind and uses wind abilities, and she's also the fastest fairy. She can fly at supersonic speeds, and this character is a little bit of a troublemaker. She's super sarcastic and competitive, and I really like Vidia. I feel like she's kind of like a complicated character. In Pixie Hollow lore, she actually started off being an antagonist, but then eventually she actually comes around and she's a protagonist, like she becomes friends with them, but she is still a little bit of a loner. She likes being by herself. She likes living by herself too, which is why I'm trying to put her in this back corner. I'm going with a darker roofing for her. Her color scheme is like this plum color, and she has dark hair, so we're gonna be trying to roll with that. Enchanted by Nature has these really pretty like dark green and plum swatches, and this is really gonna work for her, I think. I'm actually thinking now, I don't think I ever did a Pixie Hollow create a sim video, and I haven't done a create a sim video in a hot minute, so if you guys want to see that, let me know. I actually haven't really done a lot of these themed videos in general in a while. I think the last one I did was the massive city for K-pop demon hunters, but the themed builds always end up super fun, so if you have any other themed builds you want to see, let me know. I'm trying to think of what I could put on the outside for Vidia, because I feel like hers might be a little hard to portray, but if she's really fast, we could add some gym equipment out here. Like I could add a treadmill, but it's kind of ugly and like doesn't really fit the surrounding area. What if instead we just added weights? Like ideally she could just go for a jog, and then these ones I can sort of hide a little bit. Then all I have to do is add maybe a couple benches in the surrounding area, and I have to fill in a little bit more landscaping, so I'm gonna do that and then I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so this is how our village turned out on the exterior. It turned out looking so whimsical. I feel like the colors here look so pretty together too. We've got the water going, you can see the fireflies there at night. In the daytime I also added the little butterfly things too, but I feel like you can't see them when it gets dark. This is it in the daytime. It's a lot more colorful, a lot more vibrant, but there's something really magical about this like nighttime lighting going on. Oh, you know what we also need before we go in? We need a couple fairy houses. So each of them can get their own fairy home out here too. Okay, cute. Now we're finally able to go inside. So we have to furnish Silvermist's house first. I want to bring a similar vibe on the interior. We're going to keep a similar color scheme, but I might go slightly darker with the blue in this room. We can add a bathroom right here by the entry, and then we can have a bedroom in the back, and everything else can be laid out open concept this way. So I was looking through for beds, and I did find this one. It's kind of cute for a water fairy because it has the shell detailing on it. I just don't know if it's a little too basic. It is a base game bed. Maybe if we add some crystal lights over top. And I also do really like the color of these mushrooms. And then we could find a black rug to go underneath. Is this one crazy? I feel like something about it looks like the ripples of water, but it could also pass as a zebra pattern, and I don't know if she's the type. I know High School Years has some pretty black and blue furniture like this end table and this dresser. It does also come in a really pretty lighter blue though, and I feel like we need to bring some of that in as well. And listen, this is a fairy build, so obviously we need fairy lights. Oh, I think she has a pet fish, so we can definitely add a fishbowl right beside her end table. I'm gonna add some plants in here. I'll add a mirror, and again I'm gonna add a couple of spider webs, but I'm not going overboard. Okay, cute. We'll leave that for now. I need to swing around and do the kitchen. That is gonna have to be here on this wall. So I'll add the fridge. I'm doing counters from Enchanted by Nature. I'm adding a jellyfish light from Adventure Awaits. And you know what? I added a Realm of Magic oven. I think I'm gonna do a matching fridge. Let's add in some of the lily lights. I'm gonna raise them up so they're sitting on top of the fridge. And we still need a dining table. So I'm adding that with a couple chairs right here. You know what? We could fit that over here at the end of the bed. And then for something to do on top of there, we could add a bookshelf. I'm adding a marble table here in the corner. And we have a lot of black. Now I feel like we need more blue. This is a fine line we're working with here. I also need a door for the bathroom, so that's gonna lead in this way. I'm adding a few more things in here like plants. I'm also moving this back out because I feel like it doesn't need to be that crammed. And I do still need a trash can, which we could move this plant over and just place it right in front. Okay, so for Silvermist's home, this is what we got. This is our little kitchen spot. We've got the mushroom shelves. You could even add clutter on there if you wanted to, but I figured having all of those shelves up there was enough. We have the jellyfish light. We also have a mirror right at the front door. Some decor here. Then we have our door leading out to the bubble blowing patio. And then we have her bed in the background too. We've got our fish tank. She's got her dresser. Pretty much everything she's gonna need in here. And I actually don't mind the little spider webs. Until you go in lift mode and see the actual spiders, we're good. I do still have to do a bathroom, and this is a pretty tiny one. I would love to have this crystal shower for her. I feel like this is so perfect. But this 4-tile bathroom only really works if you have one of the wall-mounted showers. Wait, I just remembered fairies don't even have a bladder need in The Sims 4. They also don't have a hunger need. So like technically we don't even need the kitchen. But I feel like at least one house should have it, right? I do feel like this means we can skip the toilet here though and keep the shower. And I mean, it still is a pretty tight space. Like we can do the sink with this mirror from Pastel Pop, and then we get to keep our shower. Maybe the Crystal Creations mirror would be a little bit better. This would be a super hydrated area as well, so we can do hanging plants. And I'm gonna change up the tile in here. We'll do this tile from Dine Out. I feel like this plant from Lovestruck maybe matches a little better, so I'll add that in there. And this is going to be our toiletless bathroom. Okay, so now going forward, we don't need kitchens, which will be very nice for spacing because we are limited on this lot. So let's go over and do Peri's house next. We're doing all white wallpaper and maybe more of a fun patterned flooring. One of them is going to need the Enchanted by Nature bed, and I feel like she's the one for it. I feel like it matches her color scheme the best, and I also do want to bring in some of these branches again. They just look so pretty going around the windows, and again just giving that like wintry dead branch sort of look. I feel like her hobbies were the most difficult to do on the outside since it's kind of hard to add snowy hobbies in an area where it isn't snowy. So I kind of want her to have a lot to do on the interior. I do know that like some of the other fairies, she likes to collect things as well. So I can add little collectibles here. Like I like these from the holiday pack. Beside this fireplace, we could add a couple shelves, and we can add a couple things on here. Maybe she's a candle collector, just collecting too many candles. That's me when I just cannot skip the candle aisle at HomeSense. I'm gonna add this jewelry on this shelf too. For a skill item, I'm gonna add this blue alchemy table, and on the wall we can add some of the snowflake decor. In this corner, I'll add a mirror, and what we could give her instead of a kitchen, we could give her an ice cream maker. There's this one here from the cool kitchen pack. I'm gonna add that over in this corner. Above it, we can add these shelves, and I think I'll give her more clutter and more little like collectible things up here too. Okay, what else? We still need a dresser. This one is cute from high school years with the blue going up to the white. And then whenever I'm doing a wintry inspired build, I feel weird adding plants. So what if we sized up this ice tree and that can be our plant? I would love to have a TV in here, but every time I add them into a whimsical build like this, I just feel like they look out of place. And the frame TVs don't really have any swatches that I want to add. So I think here I'll add a bookshelf. We could add the little fairy freezer bunny, but then for something else to do, we could add a speaker in here. They can listen to music. I can add other little cute things like this camera. And I just shifted everything over a little bit because I still need room for the shower. So like my dresser can be over in this corner, and then over here, I feel like everybody needs this crystal shower. We'll change up the flooring in here so it's a little different. I think I'll change the wallpaper too. I just added a robe and a curtain, and there we go. We have our little shower room. Okay, so this is how Peri's house turned out. I like this one. It's so cozy. You can definitely tell it's come from like a wintry aesthetic. I also really like how over on this side, you can actually see the twinkling lights from the tree outside the window. She's got a little seating area. We have the ice cream maker over here, the apothecary setup. It's so weird building these without kitchens, but there we go. We have one more to build, and that leaves Vidia's house. I'm gonna find a spot for the shower right away. I'm gonna put that over here in this corner. This way we can kind of revolve everything around that instead of it being the other way around. I'm adding flooring here from Jungle Adventure, and we'll add a door to the bathroom from Enchanted by Nature. The shower doesn't really have swatches that match her perfectly. Like this is the plum one and it's really green. Or we could do this one, which is more purple. I feel like I'll try this. Then for her bed, we could go with the obvious, which would be this one. It has the thorns on it. It has like the plum color. The other one I was thinking was from Realm of Magic, just because I thought of the rose top. I guess the rose color kind of matches her too. This one might be a little overkill, so you know what? We'll do the Realm of Magic bed. But then near it, we could use these lights, like the floor lights from Enchanted by Nature. And I'm adding two of them, so they're just gonna be framing the bed like that. This rug underneath from Paranormal would be really pretty. And I want this one to be super cozy because this sim isn't gonna want to leave much. She likes her alone time. She likes spending time like in her house by herself. This is going to be like a little sanctuary. And like how pretty is this turning out already? You know what we have not used at all today? We have not used the lights from Love Struck. And I feel like that's just gonna add a little bit of like a whimsy vibe to this room. I'll just add them on one wall though. We'll just put them behind the bed. And the frame TV would work here because it matches with the rose theme that we're going with. I'm gonna try not to block the TV, but I will add this plant decor over top, maybe with some lights peeking through. And then we can add a couch facing here from Love Struck. She doesn't currently have a dresser, so I'm actually gonna use these trunks from Werewolves. I still feel like I need to give her a treadmill or something to represent her training, but again, they're just so obnoxious. What if I tried to hide it with this? Or like any kind of divider, like something so you can't see it? You know what? I actually feel like this might work. As the final thing for Vidia, I'm kind of just looking through to see if I can find like a game since she's super competitive. I did come across this voodoo doll, and like Vidia is sus. You never really know like what her true intentions might be, so I'll just leave that here for her. With the competitive aspect, I could also add a video game console. We can just put that behind the plant so it's out of the way. And if she's working out, she's gonna need some music, so I'm gonna add a speaker over there by the treadmill. So there we have Vidia's room. We have the TV area, her treadmill so she can train in the back, and then coming over here we have a super pretty bed, the roses up top representing her prickly personality, and overall this one turned out really cute too. I did go against my own word and use the Love Struck lights here a lot. But there we have each tiny home representing a different Pixie Hollow fairy for the second time. Again, if you didn't see that first video, I'll link that down below. If you want to see a create a sim version, let me know in the comments, and also if you have any other ideas you want to see me build for villages like this, let me know in the comments as well. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.